Hey everyone, welcome back to some more Vintage Cube, everybody's favorite format. This pack does not contain any power, but it does contain a Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which I consider to be the tier just below power, with cards like Childred, Bowmaster, stuff like that. There's also a Gut that I'm passing, which is not ideal. Let's say somebody really wants that Gut, and they are fine taking like the second best red card out of the packs, then maybe I can be screwed later in the draft, but I think it's going to be fine. Also, Fable, you can splash in basically any deck. If it wasn't for Fable and Gut, I like Tolarian Academy. That's a pretty good card to get early. And the next best card after that is like, I don't know, Bayou Treachery. There's a big drop-off for sure. So yeah, we start the draft with the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So when you start the draft with the Fable, you can be like 2-color mid-range. You can look for some artifact synergies. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This card will go in any deck, which is pretty awesome. Okay, next pack here. What do we have? I love Fire Covenant, just great sweeper. I don't think I'm going to take that card here, though. Pentad Prism is decent in a lot of decks. Seed of Traders. I don't like picking that card up super early, but it can be good in decks with, you know, a lot of like threes or fours. I like Sentinel, but I think I'm going to go for Sheldog Isle. Sheldog Isle is just such a huge upgrade, and it's going to be good in any blue deck. It's just, I was about to say, it was a huge upgrade for your mana base. Just putting more or less anything under the Sheldog. Basically, it falls under the category, it rewards you for playing Magic, which is like a definition I use for cards like, Monastery Mentor, stuff like that, where it's just like, you get rewarded for doing stuff you want to be doing anyway, which is like drawing cards, dragging out the game. So yeah, I'm gonna take that. Let's see. Can we continue taking red or blue? That would be ideal, right? But obviously not guaranteed. Okay, Noble Hierarchy is good. Does not cast Fable. That is something. Of the blue cards, Vendilion Click and Brainstorm. I mean, I'm not too excited about those. I'm looking at Blood Crypt or Smuggler's Copter. I think Smuggler's Copter is just like pretty safe bet. Let's take the Smuggler's Copter out of this pack. Pass on, like, Noble band fixing. Headquarters is also band fixing. I could be convinced, let's say there was some kind of, Steam vents or whatever, but this is fine. Okay, so now it looks like we kind of have to make somewhat of a decision. I guess it's pretty close here, actually, between the land and the DAC. I think I like DAC Faden. Let's go for DAC. Then we have a lot of, like, draw discard. 3 draw discards already. That's kind of cool. Let's say you wanted to go red aggro, you could take Karizev. I don't think that's crazy at all. If that deck is open, it's very, very effective. Okay, so another red aggro card. We could have been down that path, but our path here with Izzet is also strong. What's better, Counterspell or Narset? I feel like, so Narset is a combo with DAC, but Counterspell is better for the curve. I think I'm going to go for the cheaper card here. Yeah. Izzet looks to be somewhat open. Okay, now we have Dig Through Time versus Jace, and that's actually close because we have Fable and DAC. We don't know about the Copter yet, but those two cards are kind of filling the yard pretty good, but maybe it's just Jace. Yeah, let's take Jace here, but it's close with Dig Through Time. I'm always excited for Torsten with Flash. Arc Trail, I'm sure we can pick up later. This is a cool Fire Ice. So Flametongue Cabo is good, but they're pretty similar. They serve kind of the same purpose, like controlling the board. But I think Fire Ice, the flexibility and the convert mana cost. I don't really like Shrapnel Blast. I guess I'll play it if I have a bunch of artifacts. Then we have some white cards. Yeah. Ooh, I love Hex Drinker, but I think I'm going to go for Fixing. So when you're trying to cast Counterspell, I want to be able to pick up like Cryptic Command later. Maybe there's like a double red card at some point, like Fury, Fiery Confluence, etc. I like bolstering my mana. It is a very late Hex Drinker, though. I love that card. And this is not one of the best duels, so Not the most exciting pickup. Okay, we now get our opening card back. I think I just take the Welder, like super speculative. I'm gonna put it in this pile. We do have already like Copter Fable Dak. Let's say I get like Mere Battlesphere or whatever, then maybe Welder can be in here. But I'm not convinced about that card. Thank you so much for joining me today. It means a lot. I love playing Magic, and yeah, I love hopefully entertaining. Maybe it's too arrogant to say educate, but if I can just inspire just a little bit, I really like the thought of that. Whether it's some technical play, my approach to the game, whatever it is, I love that thought. Okay, so we still don't have any green fixing. Sentinel is awesome. I think we just go for the Prism. I think Prism is actually quite decent, especially if you have like some 5s, maybe a 6 or something along those lines. Also, artifact count with Welder is not nothing in case I want to like use my Prism then weld it out for free. So I guess I just take Vendilion Click, even though it's kind of tempting with the headquarters. Let's just take Vendilion Click and just firmly be in the Izzet colors. That's kind of cool. All of my 11 first cards can potentially go in a super consistent Izzet deck. And I say that, and we get these cards. Let's put the Mystic Force in the sideboard. Let's hate pick the red card. Actually, Pyrokinesis is not a bad one. Like very, very late. This card is just destroying some archetypes, like basically good against all the monocolored decks or a combination of Naya, basically. And I have Jace, Fable, Dak, even Copter if I get that, up and running. That can kind of filter it away, right? Okay, cool pick here. So Portal to Phyrexia, I believe, is gone pack 1. Maybe I'm misremembering. So I can take Tinker, Shoot for the Stars. I can take Chain Lightning, Bread and Butter. Or I can take Mere Battlesphere, which is like a combination of middle ground between those two. I think I'm going to shoot for the stars here. Let's go for Tinker. We have Prism, Copter, Treasure from Fable already. Let's take the Tinker. What are we passing up on here that we care about? I think at this point in the draft, we're just so obviously going to play Izzet that worrying about what we're passing is not that relevant. So I'm going to focus on what I potentially want to wheel, and I think realistically, it's Mere Battlesphere. Mere Battlesphere is a card that I can potentially wheel. So now we have to remember we need a big artifact for Tinker. Ooh, there's a Bowmasters, which is the best card in the pack. But there's an Urza, which we can cast and synergizes with Tinker. So let's take Urza. Bowmasters would have been awesome, but we're not looking to put ourselves in a spot where we pass Urza, and then we have to work for black mana for the Bowmasters to even work. This is just better. The Academy is gone from pack 1. Somebody's gonna, look for the same kind of cards that we are. But Urza doesn't take that much. Like, even with 0 artifacts, I would play Urza, so I like that. So let's see. Ideally now, the good thing about having cards like Urza is if you look for like Urza Saga or the 4-mana Karn, then all of a sudden you have like incentive to draft like small artifacts. Okay. Let's get to the next pack here. I saw Bubble first, which is tempting. Then I saw Iteration, which is awesome, but I think I'm going to take Lightning Bolt here. I doubt I'm going to wield the Expressive Iteration, but if I am, that's pretty awesome. I think it's important to not die when you play decks like this. And Lightning Bolt is kind of the perfect card for not dying. Okay, so here I can basically only take 2 cards. That's Jace and Delayed Blast Fireball. I'm just gonna take Jace. I already have Pyrokinesis for like some sweeper effects. I have some like Bolt and Fire Ice's removal for small creatures also. So let's take the Jace here. Jace is potentially quite strong, but we do need like at least a cantrip to make that card better. Okay, I was excited to see the Stern Scolding, but I'm going to take Volcanic Island here. Volcanic Island is just pretty awesome when you're looking to cast turn 1 Bolt, turn 2 Counterspell, Vidillion Click, stuff like that. Let's take the Volcanic Island. Stern Scolding, I love that card. It's really clutch. I love the Chariot in any deck that can cast it. I like Esper Sentinel and White Weenie, some red aggro cards, some black mid-range cards. Yeah, just solid pack. Maybe we can wheel the Auto War if we're extremely lucky. Okay, so now this is interesting. So we have, let's call it bad fixing in Fire Islet. I'm not a big on these Horizon Lands as fixing, unless you're like a very aggressive deck. Then there's Shredder, and there's Phyrexian Dragon Engine. If this card is awesome with Goblin Welder. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Shredder here. Sometimes I feel like just the tempo cards, that's just too strong. Huh, this pack is quite terrible. I'm actually gonna take Porcelain Legionnaire because there is a world where I'm enough aggressive that I want it, and it's an artifact, so yeah, terrible booster for us, but artifact, and yeah, might be good. Shadow Spear is exciting, but I think Daze is just too strong, like, just counters clutch plays for no mana coming out of nowhere. Shadow Spear would be fine with, like, Ursa, Tinker, stuff like that. Let's take the Daze here. Rona or Murktide? Let's try and count the instants and sorceries for Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I don't have that many, but this could be a good Murktide deck, and I feel like I already have, like, infinite looters, so let's take Murktide. There's a Monastery Mentor that I'm extremely unlikely to play. My Savannah in the sideboard doesn't exactly help, but let's take the Mentor, put it in the side. Huh. Even wheel, yeah, I mean, why not? Malcolm is also quite strong. Like, this deck is just gonna plow through the deck. And then the question becomes, how can I kind of benefit from that? So it didn't wheel any of the stuff I wanted. I'm going to take the fixing for the Mentor for a rainy day. I'm going to take Worldspine Worm in case I get exactly Flash. These cards don't matter. I mean, who knows? 15th pick Containment Priest. Let's see. I mean, if I play against Reanimator, I can just play, like, 1 Plains, replace a mountain with this land, and then bring it in. Like, that wouldn't be terrible. Okay, another solid pack. No power in sight yet. I'm gonna take Remand here. Remand is great. Delay my opponent while I attack with small creatures. Best card in the pack is Animate Dead, but we're not in a position to take that, in my opinion. We do have to think about if this Tinker is gonna connect or not in our deck, but I mean, can't do anything about it at the moment. Misty Rainforest versus Memory Lapse. I do like Memory Lapse a lot. Do I like my mana base right now? I mean, my mana base is... It is decent, but it's not perfect. Misty or Memory Lapse? I'm going to go Memory Lapse here, but that's actually kind of close. I wouldn't mind playing Brea's Apprentice. We can probably wheel that card. Yeah, let's take the Memory Lapse. Okay. I think now I have to take... If I want to get a Tinker target, I think now is the time. And that Tinker target is really not the best, but the Leveler lets me play Tinker, which is valuable. Let's see, is it good with Welder? Nah, I don't know, not really. The Welder is realistically also in the sideboard. I think this deck is looking interesting. This should be, like, super fun to play. Obviously, we can still upgrade a few cards before it's all said and done, but this looks okay. I like we have Lightning Bolt and Pyrokinesis to kind of hedge against fast creatures. Oof. This is a bad pack. I can only play one of these cards, and that's Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith is good with I don't know, Tinker, Urza, Leveler. I guess it's okay. This is not the best for Monolith deck, but yeah, I take it. I like Shark, and I like Spell Pierce. Do we have enough stuff to win with if we take the Spell Pierce? Let's see. We have Copter, Shredder, Legionnaire, Malcolm, Fable, Click. Yeah, I think we have enough win cons. Let's take Disruption. Now we kind of have the same question. I think Third Path versus Subtlety is the. And just there's even a Flame Slash. Can I do anything cool here where I try and wheel one card out of the pack? No, it's not realistic. Neither of those are going to be. I'm just going to see a Boreal Grazer, to be honest. I think this is a good spot to take. Is this Flame Slash? Let's see. One removal, two. Yeah, I think I'd take Flame Slash. Very close pick. I take Flame Slash because I'm actually scared of getting, like, just turn 1 mana creature, turn 2, whatever, creature, and lose the game that way. Now I think it's time to upgrade my mana base, and fetch is the obvious choice. But I think Lauren Revealed is better because it's kind of a fetch. I have Volcanic. And it's great with Murktide Regent, so... And just, playing that card later in the game is insane. Wow, I have Fixing versus Snapcaster here. I think this is just an insanely good Snapcaster deck, so let's take that. I feel like I have too many cards. Fairy Wield, let's take it in case I feel frisky. We did wield the Apprentice, but now I have, like, already, I guess, too many playables, so let's take the Lavamancer for the sideboard. These cards don't do anything. We're not playing against our opponents, so whatever. Maybe Smuggler's Copter isn't perfect because I need kind of 2 creatures for it to be good. Hangerback. Let's see about that. Tinker Leveler. Is that good? I may have to cut Leveler, Tinker, Monolith, even though it doesn't feel that great. Yeah, it's kind of a package. That's the thing. And Monolith is really not good with anything outside of the Tinker plan. I don't think double spelling is that huge in this deck. What happens if I cut those cards? Then I'm looking to add 16. I go to 17. I mean, yeah, then I have a deck. Maybe I can add one more card. Trying to fix the curve here so it actually resembles, like, what's going to happen in the games. It is possible I play main deck Grim Lavamancer. And I don't play Prism. That's also possible. Oh, let's see. We have 13 land slots. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue plus 8. That's 12 blue. That would be cool. Red, 1, 2, 3 plus 4. That puts me at 7. I'm at 8. Maybe that's also cool. So now I have 16 lands and Lore Unrevealed. But my deck is pretty low curve. I feel like I can probably cut, like, an island for a Grim Lavamancer. Then I hedge a little bit more against, like, creatures. And then I try and, like, tempo out the unfair decks. And how much counter magic do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Click is also disruptive. Okay. I mean, I can probably win some games with this deck. 15 lands and a Lore Unrevealed. Looter, Cantrip. Yeah, I think this. I like this deck. Let's see what this Izzet tempo deck can do. I have my Tinker playing in the sideboard in case I kind of need it in a matchup, but I think it's correct to cut here. But let's see. if my deck needs some kind of top end. All right, that'll do it for the draft portion. See you guys for the first match. Okay, here we have for round 1. I'm on the draw here with Izzet Tempo. My opening hand looks just all right. I have to turn 1 Lavamancer. Ooh, okay. It looks like the opponent came to play, so that might change things. I don't think I can do anything else, though, aside from just going turn 1 Lavamancer. I could kind of speculate on, triggering the Shredder on turn 3, etc., but I think I'm just supposed to play my cards out here. Island was a very bad draw, so thankfully this deck has a ton of looting. Let's see if we... Okay, so the opponent plays Mutt. Most likely binning a fatty and then reanimating it next turn, and we can't do anything about that right now. We need to draw a counterspell here, I feel like, and we did not. So, yeah. I play out Ledger Shredder, I pass the turn, and then I just expect to get reanimated. Necromancy. Worston hits the field. Let's see which 7 cards are revealed. Huh, looks like Mono Black Reanimator, Shallow Grave, Grief, Valkyrian Curtains. So Shallow Grave doesn't go to the hand, but all of these 6 other cards do. So not only is Torsten a big unbeatable creature on the field, it's also a discard outlet in case my opponent has more fatties. Or I could get griefed here. Also very possible. So if I don't get griefed, I expect my opponent to bin some fatties, or at least one. If I do get griefed, it doesn't matter too much either way, I feel like. I think I'm just dead to that card. Turn 3, 7/7 is just too strong. Let's see. Let's discard a mountain. The opponent exiled the curtains. Evoke Grief it is. I think that's just a great play. Like when you Torsten or Gristlebrand or Atraxa into like Grief, just taking away your opponent's best play is just the best. Also, the thing is, even if I manage to kill the Torsten, I will have to deal with 7 1/1s afterwards. So let's see. I can go Prism. I can go Legionnaire. Trigger my Shredder. There's a Daze. Okay. I'll hang on to the Daze. Who knows? Maybe that's clutch. And I can get in for 1. I have Jace the Mind Sculptor in my deck. That's kind of a card I'm trying to draw to. As an answer to Torsten. Let's see here. Opponent gets in for 7. I can take 2 hits from that card while I'm looking. Really not ideal. Also, my opponent has... Come on, tab out, opponent. Yeah, Liliana is very strong here. Each player discards a card. Let's see. Probably the Flame Slash is just bad. Or is that true? Yeah, let's discard the Flame Slash. It's so rough. Island, a terrible draw. Oh, yeah. I could have Lavamancered my opponent's creature, then attack the Liliana dead. Yeah, that would have been better. Okay, Liliana hits the bin anyway. I get today's a 1 ring. And I now have to draw Jace the Mind Sculptor. I'm dead. Worston gets in there. That is not Jace the Mind Sculptor. Huh. Let's attack for 3. And now lose to a removal spell, but I think that's okay. I think it's better to play like that than, you know, keep 2 creatures back. Like, I need that Jace. Come on, Jace. You can do it. Let's see here. I'm just gonna check my screenshot. If I go Dak, I'm gonna have 2 mana. What can I do with 2 mana? Unblock once more, I guess. There's also Fire Ice. So let's go Dak. I have to pass because I don't want to trade damage with the Valky. Then it's just gonna kill me in 2 swings. Block her and I'm dead. Okay, looks like the opponent is also playing most likely red, right? I'm gonna... Oh, yeah. There's Malcolm. Let's see. We need like 1 mana answer for Valky alongside... Yeah, let's see. I have to discard 2 cards. Then I can play 2 creatures. Okay. We're not dead yet. Like, if my opponent unearths the mutt, I'm dead. They don't. Okay. Faithless looting in the mid game, getting rid of 2 irrelevant lands. Is this just like through the breach? No, it's not. Okay. Flashback looting. Okay. Let's click our opponent. At least get some more info before game 2. Let's see what the opponent has for us. Any removal spell ices the game. Okay. Currency converter. Currency converter. So let's get rid of the Knight's Whisper. Malcolm. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Orcish Bowmaster, that does it. That was a good cycle. Huh, okay. So Black-Red Reanimator. We can beat that deck. Did we have any? Yeah, we actually do have the Priest. So this might come to fruition here off of a single plains, the Beaver Rock, and the Priest. Grim Lava Mentor doesn't look very good. I'm also going to cut a mountain. Maybe I cut one more. Maybe I need to cut one more land. Maybe Pyrokinesis isn't the best against that deck. Maybe we can go like this. Yeah, that was a beating. Turn 3 Torsten was very, very awesome for the opponent. Yeah, let's keep this hand. We have a 2-mana counter. We have all our colors. The thing about Memory Lapse is, if you're not, like, beating your opponent, then it's not gonna help all that much. Thoughtseize, very nice. Turn 1 from the opponent. Getting to pick my best card and get a lot of info about my plan. Pretty sweet. I need to draw Containment Priest. Gonna ice here, digging deeper, hopefully buying some time. Kind of sad I don't have a play next turn. Oof. Yeah, that's the nightmare, that the opponent had, reasonable stuff to do, so it wasn't really a time walk. That's the dream when you're playing against Fire Ice. Ashen Rider and Valky. Lauren revealed. Not a good draw, unfortunately. And now the problem is, if the opponent can reanimate Ashen Rider, they're keeping me off 4 mana. Am I even supposed to Lauren revealed here? Let's see. Next turn I go Jace. I have to think about Bowmasters. But let's say I go Jace, then the turn after, I can Murktide. Okay, I'm actually not going to do it. Let's see if that backfires. Playing out Jace. I'm actually going to +2 my opponent's deck. I feel like there's a Bowmasters. Maybe I can't beat that card. Anyway, yeah, the mud is going to be... The mud is fine. We know my opponent can't reanimate right now, so... Let's see if there's a Bowmasters. There's Orcish Bowmasters, which is very annoying, but I mean, I still made the right play, I guess. So now with the help of like some bad burn spell, the opponent can finish off Jace. Yeah, Palantir is a good one. I'm gonna bin the cards here. Not gonna let my opponent draw extra this time around. Nope. I take a lot of damage. This is very, very tough. I feel like all I can do is just play Murktide. Play a big Murky. Look at my opponent's deck. There's Imperial Seal. I don't want that card. That card will tutor the best card in my opponent's deck, and I don't think I'm able to beat the best card in my opponent's deck right now. Oof, this was a beating. Fast Reanimation and Bowmasters. I didn't find Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash. I used my Fire Ice kind of in vain earlier. Brutal. Brutal. Kind of tough what I do here. Can I beat my opponent drawing an extra card each turn? Let's see what they do with it. 2 on top. So the usual go-to when you do that is either... No, 2 on top. I'm gonna mill those cards. This looks like I'm dead. Yeah, this was a tough one. Obviously, I could have stayed alive there. My opponent kept 2 cards on top, which kind of smells like I'm dead, right? These spots are always tough because am I gonna bite the sour apple now, or am I just gonna accept my opponent is drawing 1 extra card each turn? So whether I'm losing on the spot here, I don't think it's that bad in the context of how I was already doing in the game and what I can realistically beat. That was a beating. Like, unanswered Bowmasters. Just look at my cards. Like I was supposed to win off the on the back of this Jace. It's even possible I should have brainstormed the first time around and just said, you know what, I can't beat a Bowmasters, so I'm not even sure. I mean, obviously the opponent had the Bowmasters, so it was the better play with the information we have now. But I'm not even sure I was supposed to respect that, to be honest. Oh, very tough start to this video. We have a sweet Izzet deck. Let's see if we can do it to the next opponent. Round 2 on the draw here with Izzet Tempo. We have a decent hand. Have to remember that the coast is not entering untapped until the third land drop, but let's see if we can maneuver around that. Probably by playing it tap turn 1. Jace Rin's Prodigy was the draw. Okay, some kind of mirror match here could be cool. I'll pass the turn here, play on instant speed with Malcolm. I think that's decent. The case for playing out Prism is you want to set up like a more powerful turn later. But I think like, especially because I found the third land, I think I can go like kind of slow and steady here. Let's see if that's true. Opponent takes the damage. Okay, that's kind of annoying. Maybe I just have to pyrokinesis those guys. So let's go 3-1. Get those cards out of there. Play Malcolm. Get in for 2. Let's see. Probably just discard Prism, actually. Yeah, let's discard the Prism. Jace or hold up Ice. Fire, I guess. Let's do that. Now we kind of have 2 looters in play. We give our opponent a reason to, you know, start killing our creatures. Hopefully we can sneak this Jace into play. Firebolt. One is still holding up counter. Trying to think about if it makes sense to... Ooh. Okay. Maybe I go land pass? Yeah, like this. Because we don't really know how like my opponent's next turn is going to play out. And it kind of looked like they were holding up 2 mana counter. If they do that again... Okay. Now we can even flip our Jace. But I don't think that necessarily makes sense to do. Maybe it's better to loot 1 deeper. Let's try that. Activate Urza. So here I kind of wanted to go... Yeah, this is interesting because both Urza and Jace are pretty awesome haymakers here. This hurts so bad. I'm binning the Urza, and I'm tapping the Steam Vents. Let's see if we can flip and find a land here. If you find Island, okay. Yeah, maybe I just do that. Jace the Mind Sculptor, and now let's see if it's like Mana Leak miscalculation, memory lapse. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of brutal because my play was banking a little bit on my opponent having a blue counter, and that's why they kept up these 2 lands last turn. Thankfully, we don't get punished here. Maybe I just sit back here. I feel like I want to let my opponent come to me because I have a Jace, and that ultimate is gonna win the game, and I have a million counter spells, so I'm kind of changing up my plan a little bit here. The Jace didn't work out. The opponent didn't play on board, so now we kind of maneuver into this one. That card is fine. I can just target it so the attack doesn't do anything. My opponent does have Firebolt in the yard, but I think at that point, like if my opponent taps out for that, I can do numerous things to stop my opponent. I'm not going to play the DAC because don't want my opponent to draw cards, don't want to pay the toll, and I actually like my hand. Now it's going to be somewhat complicated for the opponent to keep the Jace out of ultimate range. Yeah, there's Goldspan. I'll pay. Oh, pay 0. That's hilarious because I made it smaller. Yes, I'll pay 0. Now my opponent needs to get through Pierce and Lapse. Otherwise, I feel like Jace ultimate is just gonna mill them out eventually. I haven't won with Jace -9 in many, many years. I feel like the last time I did it was maybe in Modern. And that's many, many years ago. Let's do that. Let's see. We go. I think this card makes sense. Let's see if we can find something sick. We didn't really find anything sick. I guess Vendilion Click will have to do. I'm excited to see what the opponent goes for here. Like, Dragon again. Firebolt from the yard. Yes. Put it back on top. So now whenever I cast a spell, I mill my opponent for 5. So that's going to be like 4 or 5 spells and it's game over. Which is pretty trivial, I would say. Let's get the emblem. So let's see. Maybe I'm supposed to go... So now I have to remember the Sentinel is kind of doing its thing here. I can DAC, take the Sentinel. Then play like Legionnaire. That means I've milled my opponent for a bunch. Maybe that's fine. Hey, yes. Mill my opponent for a bunch. Take that. Pay 2 life. Mill my opponent. So what I have to think about here is, let's say the opponent has an Eldrazi. Then the plan is off, right? It does look like it's more like Jeskai creatures than like Sneak, Breach, etc. But yeah, you never really know. And here I don't really care about the deck. If that can soak up a dragon attack, perfect. The opponent knows I have Jace. So I have milled 10 already. I need to cast one more spell than I can already see, and actually I have the click. Yeah, the opponent couldn't do anything this game. That was kind of cool that I could sculpt my game plan around ultimating small Jace. Haven't done that in a while. That was cool. Okay, so we're playing against Jeskai creatures. Jeskai creatures. Do I like Tinker Big Boy over anything? The thing is, all of these cards are kind of solid. I'll just resubmit here. I think it's fine. This deck is just like super solid. Not gonna blow any socks off, but it's solid. I like to play those decks. You usually have like good moves. Okay, we have hopefully a 0 mana 2 for 2 up our sleeve here. Then we have some kind of mediocre hanger back, but fine. Lorien revealed. Most likely just gonna go get me my Volcanic Island right away. Volcanic Island it is. Don't see any need to play it out now, though. I'll hang her back. This card, if it gets killed, whatever. If it doesn't, then it's going to do something throughout the game. That's fine. If it soaks up like exile removal, it makes it more likely like Urza, Murktide, stuff like that will stick. Okay, so this is kind of the same as last time. Oh, actually I have Dak Fate in here. Okay, so I can Dak the... I don't even know what I'm supposed to Dak. What if I leave my opponent with the Flyer? Is that good? Ah, Counterspell is even a good draw. Okay, so now I can Dak Fate in one of those cards. If I Dak the Copter... If I Dak the Copter, I can kind of block my way out of this. But maybe my hand is just fine. I'll try and Dak the big one. Dak the 2/3. Then I'm going to attack here. If my opponent decides to block, that's fine. If they don't, they take 1. I can't block anyway. The thing is here, I lose my Walker. That's fair. But I actually have, like, Hangerback and Brea's Apprentice. That's not nothing. I can get super paid off if my opponent decides to play something pre-combat, like Hellrider, like Gut, Bombardier, parts along those lines. Then I just get super paid off with Pyrokinesis. Hmm. Tough call. Tough call. Do I add a line? It's kind of annoying. So maybe I just kill that. Yeah, let's kill that. I know I could have just blocked the extra 1/1 there, but there's some weird, like, my opponent has a removal, and then all of a sudden things got worse. But I actually think I'm doing a good job here. Like I'm in a good shape here, I would say. So let's attack. I have good interaction, so I can just sit back for a while and chill. Feel like I should put a counter on this now. Don't want to get like, oh, my opponent has some kind of removal in response, then I get 1 less 1/1 that I was supposed to. Can't block anyway, so it's fine. The opponent has now reached 5 mana. We saw the dragon last game. Counterspell that. Now we're kind of in the driver's seat, except if my opponent has like 1 more good haymaker. Okay, that's not perfect. So what we can do here is like keep up the gas. Is that good? So I go get 3 1/1s. Look at the top card. It's a Murktide Regent. That's sick. Okay, so I'll go Murktide 1, 2, 3. I guess 4. And then I still hold up the bolt. I have a 6/6. Could have bolted and made it even bigger, but I think this is going to be fine. Now I have a lot of flyers. Yeah, that was sick. So now I'm using the Brea's Apprentice that my opponent originally played in combination with Hangerback Walker to generate like value, like have a Friction Arena in play or Palantir if you want to call it. And I just have 9 power in the air. Like hitting that Murktide was sick. Let's see, the opponent needs some kind of good stuff here. Like even just killing the Murktide isn't the end of the world at all. Monastery Mentor. I have the Lightning Bolt, so this is going to be very awesome for me. I do have to remember the opponent plays Memory Lapse. I'm going to chill a little bit here. Ah, what a draw, baby. So maybe what I do is, let me see here. We saw Memory Lapse game 1. So I expect to get Memory Lapsed. Which card do I want to get Memory Lapsed? And I think the answer to that question is Lightning Bolt. No exciting stuff there. Maybe I'm just attacking here. Attack for 1,000,000. Try and win next turn. I think it's so unlikely that deck has any Wraths in it. Chum blocking, taking 5. Am I really playing a little bit around balance here? Yeah, I guess I am. I was really expecting the bolt to get memory lapsed. Obviously, I would rather have the bolt right now. Okay, the opponent has the balance, which is extremely annoying. Let's see, I can choose to keep 5 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. I lose all of my creatures. We both have 1 card in hand. This game is up for the taking. Opponent has Ultra Complete in hand. Okay. So the thing about that is he's 2 lands away from casting it. But it makes it so that both lands and spells are good draws for my opponent. Speaking of good draws, I like me a little bit of Sheldog Isle. And I have an Urza coming in a few turns. 23 cards in deck. The opponent is not cracking Sunbake Canyon. I like that play, but it's also kind of annoying. Ooh-hoo-hoo! The opponent drew the same card. Sheldog Isle. So when my Sheldog is live, so is my opponent's. I'm kind of scared here. Malcolm is a good draw because it lets me Sheldog next turn. It also lets my opponent Sheldog next turn, though. Don't draw land number 7. I did not draw land number 7. Please place Wheel of Fortune. Holy smokes. Okay, let's respond with Malcolm. Then let's get 7 fresh cards. Oh my god, this is absurd. Now I have Snapcaster Bold's not the most exciting. Versus Saga, sick. Firebolt on that. I'm not gonna. No fuzz about that. Yeah, now it's okay. Let's see. Chandra. I don't have anything fancy here. If I go, ooh, okay. I can actually go Days, Snapcaster Days. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Opponent pays. I still develop power, so it's not like it's not terrible. So that worked. I can now attack my opponent down to 7. I have a Lavamancer. So let's see. Attack. Opponent's at 7. How do I play this? I can go Shredder. What if I go Shredder, Urza, Loot, get rid of a terrible land. Urza hits the field. I can now click my opponent. Is that good? Probably better than developing the Lavamancer. Draw step. Click. And hope it's good. Okay. I don't care about any of these cards aside from Expressive Iteration. My opponent has Lotus, Oust. I accidentally clicked the Lotus. My opponent has Lotus, Oust, 3 lands, and 1 unknown. And they have to beat quite the big board here. Also worth noticing is Jace on my Snapcaster is like access to Lightning Bolt, which is not nothing. Because I have 4 in the air here from Shredder and Click. And then Lightning Bolt can finish off my opponent. Because of Ursa Saga, I can't attack with Snapcaster first, then it will die in combat. So the opponent... Okay. Shredder is fine. Triggering Shredder is cool. So if I grow the Shredder, is that better for me? 5. I'm just going to discard a land here. I'm really not sure what to do. So let's go land. Let's play Jace the Mind Sculptor. Found Snapcaster back to my hand. Now I can also... Ooh. Wow, sick. Okay. We kind of play on here. My opponent also makes the 1/1. So let's see. Can power the Shredder. Should probably do that. Can I play my whole hand out? More or less looks like it. Let's see. Play Copter, draw, discard Prism, grow the Shredder. More stuff. Okay. Will the opponent go to 1? That is the question. They will not go to 1. The opponent has a bunch of cards in hand. So now with the opponent at 2 life, there's a balance in the graveyard. But is there a way to cast balance once again? That is the biggest question. One was a 2. I'll play the Jace Prodigy. Jace Prodigy makes it so that I have access to the Bolt, like winning without my combat step, basically. And let's say I get swept here, then the Lavamancer still, crews the Copter, where Jace does not. So that's my reasoning. So the opponent did not want to go to 1. What's the difference between 1 and 2 here? I'm trying to put myself in the opponent's shoes and trying to see how they can get out of it. Okay, they couldn't. This was a great game. Like the wheel, the balance, a lot of stuff there. That's like super interesting. I feel like I navigated this pretty well. I had a pretty good idea of like where the game was going and how I could close it out. what my opponent could do to stop me. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can salvage the 2-1 in the last one. Yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. All right, round 3. As you can see, I've fixed the green screen for this one. I'm sorry for the mess, the previous round at least. On the draw here, yeah, I mean, this hand is just to keep. Like, this is what this deck does, right? It has some cheap, not very awesome, like, not bonkers creatures, and it kind of has a tempo plan of trying to win with evasive damage. Let's see. Yeah, this is a bad habit to lose the die roll when you play like a tempo deck like this. Your win rate will, yeah, change a lot from being on the play and draw. Because my cards aren't, you know, all that like durable. There's a lot of like tempo stuff trying to exactly close out the game and stuff like that. Let's see. The opponent started on Watergrave. That could be anything. Okay, Grixis colors. So we're most likely in for a good match. Ledger Shredder is cool. I know that card. I'm gonna go Copter, and then next turn I can start crewing, filtering my draws a little bit, unless we get dacked. Don't dack me. Hull against command. Nice card. So let's see. The opponent kills Copter. I guess I just discard Legionnaire. Very good 2-for-1 from the opponent. Like, this is how I like Magic being played. Like, the value being important. Okay. So now I'm gonna pass. If my opponent does nothing, I will end step the click. Maybe even attack step the click. No, that's fine. I'm gonna take 1. I'm gonna try and end step Vendilion Click if nothing happens. Okay, so the opponent's most likely sitting on counter magic, but I don't think there's anything to be done about that. I like my hand a decent amount, so I'm not gonna target myself here. Wow. Through the Breach, Ashen Rider. That means I can never tap out. Let's see. What if I get rid of the Ashen Rider? Maybe just leave it there. Oh. No, the Malcolm is a looter, though. But I'll block or kill it. Okay, I'm gonna let my opponent have those cards. And I really have to, like, sculpt my game plan around this. Grim Lavamancer is not a bad draw. But let's see. Vendilion Click. Blocking. Maybe I just kill. Yeah, let's do this. So, fire. Keep up Pierce. Attack. So, if my opponent draws land number 5, they're just happily going to slam the Through the Breach. I'm going to Pierce, and I'm going to be in pole position. Okay. I like this. So now, my opponent does have Recurring Nightmare. I draw Flame Slash. That is possibly an amazing draw. I can now even play 6/6 Murktide Regent, attack my opponent to 13. Then I have to dodge this 1 turn, and I have Memory Lapse for the win. Brutal stuff. Opponent has Recurring Nightmare, Ashen Rider, and an unknown card. Recurring Nightmare pass. Yeah, Fable is normally like an insane draw here, but we don't need it this game. So I go Grim Lavamancer, pass. And it's over for the opponent. Unless something crazy, I guess. Let's see. Exhume. The opponent is looking to get a creature into play. That card would be Malcolm. So yeah, the opponent got to reach the conclusion before me. So the opponent gets Malcolm or Shredder into play. They only have one blocker, but they still take 4. And I don't have to show the memory lapse. That's cool. Oof. Just seeing the hand and sculpting my game plan around piercing that through the breach, that was pretty awesome. Okay, we know the drill here. I need Priest, Plains, and Bivouac. And I remove... Actually, Pyrokinesis looked solid. Let's see what I remove. Maybe some creature stuff? I could remove, like, Legionnaire and Hangerback? Is that too much to remove? Is the Copter not, like, consistent enough in that setup? I'm not worried about Ursa. That's fine. That is making, like, smaller creatures. That's okay. So how many cards can I crew with now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not that many for the Copter. Oh, I didn't remove lands. Perfect. So let's see. I remove Mountain 16 plus. Maybe I can remove like one island and play, I don't know, 3-1. Okay, let's do it. Come on, baby. Up a game versus Rakdos. I guess Grix's Reanimator Tempo. It's kind of like my deck, just with some broken cards. 5 lands. Snapcaster doesn't do anything yet. Pyrokinesis needs a spell to do something. If I do that, then I'm down to a Snapcaster. I think this hand is too far off the mark. This is way better. Do I get rid of Rinse Prodigy? I could have gotten rid of a land as well, but I think I like this. Turn 1 Ponder is decent. I feel like if I can like trade in combat with Malcolm or stick it, do the same with Flame Slash, get to Jace the Mind Sculptor, that's like a way to win. Mox Ruby is a nice one. Ooh. Dak. So if my opponent doesn't, really leverage that Ruby before my turn 3, I can take it. That's pretty cool. Tapped. Okay. So now I go Lorne Revealed for, I guess, just Volcanic Island. Then I get ready to Malcolm next turn cycle, and then hopefully Dak Faden afterwards. Also have to remember the Call Against command my opponent showed. Turn 2 Volcanic, turn 3 Untapped Coast is also pretty neat. I don't like this stop. I'm thinking like Flash, Ancestral Recall. Draw Step, I'm not too worried. Pyrokinesis. Not sure if that card is going to be impactful this game. I mean, because Flame Slash already has like a small creature covered. Faithless Looting. Yeah, this is where things can get nasty. This smells so much of Faithless Looting, instant reanimate. Ooh. Atraxa hits the bin. Ooh, the opponent passes. Okay. So now I'm just going to play Malcolm as, like, it's not a card I mean, it's fine if it sticks, but I don't mind, like, trading off here. Malcolm resolves. Get to untap even. Copter, not bad. I'm probably going to Malcolm away the Pyrokinesis here, but let's see. Let's see if we even get there. Petty Theft. That's fine. Now I'm gonna Dak Fade in the Mox. It accelerates me. It makes my opponent, hopefully disrupts my opponent a little bit. But with Atraxa in the yard, this is just an accident waiting to happen, to be honest. And there it is. Atraxa, trigger resolves. Let's see. Opponent has Fable, Archon, Scolding, with land and even. Okay, that's sick. Yeah, this is too much stuff to beat. Because I guess the opponent cannot go Fable right now, which is cool. There's also Cull against command. Let's see what the opponent puts in the hand and then take it from there. I do have Jace the Mind Sculptor. So let's see. Swamp, Scolding, Fable, Archon. Talisman resolves. So no new way of reanimating, which is the big one here. Swamp, Scolding. So but the opponent has a counter for the Malcolm. Fable, Archon. They're some mana away from hard casting Archon. Okay, this is going to be tough, but this is not undoable. I'm definitely going to give this a go. Also, I get to sculpt my hand a little bit here. Looking for stuff like Containment Priest plus white mana, which is not ideal. Looking for counter spells. But I also have to remember I have to like close out my opponent in the window between, dealing with Atraxa and my opponent hard casting Archon, stuff like that. I guess they even bin the Archon with Fable. But I can Flame Slash the Fable token, that's fine. Yeah, this should be a good game. Also, my opponent has Brazen Borrower and Exile, so lots of stuff to worry about here. Maybe I can get into a good situation where my opponent plays Fable, they get a 2-2. They have land number 6, so they end step the Brazen, then I can Pyrokinesis both. That would be sick. I think that's actually doable. Let me do a quick pause here while the opponent figures out what they want to do. Okay, we drew Snapcaster Mage for the turn. Not super exciting. Let's see what we can find. Let's DAC. So interestingly enough, Flame Slash, Snapcaster Flame Slash deals with Atraxa, but my opponent has Stern Scolding, so that's not in the picture right now. I feel like I can get rid of like Copter and land, probably. So now I'm gonna play Jace the Mind Sculptor, bounce Atraxa. Pass the turn. I have 2 walkers. The opponent's best play is most likely gonna be Fable. Oh, this looks way better than Fable, unfortunately. Okay. That's sick. I didn't know about that card. I didn't see that on Atraxa. Must have been hiding there, either in hand already or on the top of the deck. So yeah, this is a beating. The thing that's going to happen now is I'm going to take 12 damage. Then I'm going to sacrifice both of my walkers. Yeah, I mean, I guess that happened. And I'm going to discard 2 cards. Yeah, this is very, very brutal. And the opponent draws 2 cards. Yeah, that's like the biggest swing you can imagine. It's not winnable from here. My deck doesn't have any like insane comeback mechanisms. My opponent has a full grip. They even have a 1-for-1 counter for one of my creatures. Whew. The if it wasn't for the Through the Breach, I think we could have had a long, cool game, but that definitely ended quickly. Okay, let's try again. It's kind of I have like some cards like Grim Lavamancer, Pyrokinesis. Like they're good against my opponent's plan B, but against their plan A, I need like some kind of clock and some counter magic. On the play here for the last game, I'm on a quest to salvage the 2-1. This looks fine. Holding up, yeah, I'm probably supposed to hold up Pierce from the get-go because it looks like my hand can just play turn 3 tap land, and that's gonna be fine. I do have to worry about finding some way to like peck away at my opponent's life total, because if I just like spell pierce something, memory lapse something, I'm just gonna, delay the inevitable. I was actually too quick to let that resolve. There's a chance I should have spell pierced that Mox. I was too quick there. Okay, we get to spell pierce that instead. I should have thought about that. Right now, it doesn't matter too much, but now that it's already done, right? But I on a Molda 5, I think it's very tempting to try and Stone Rain the opponent. So what's most important here? My opponent kind of skipping their next draw step, or me getting through my deck? I'll try this. Sheldock is a cool one. Sheldock into a counter spell. Now I'm gonna memory lapse the Fable, and then let's see. The cool thing here is if my opponent does not have a land, I can ice next turn and kind of time walk. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, right now I'm just okay. I have a draw 3 next turn. That's decent, and I knew my opponent didn't have a play there. Yeah, this is the time for a draw 3. Priest is going to be good for later, but my opponent's going to get the Fable. There's 4th land. There's Fable. There's my own Fable. Okay, that's sick. The thing is, I need to hold up Containment Priest in this turn. I'm going to play my own Fable because I have like terrible lands in hand that I want to cycle away next turn. I don't care too much about... I'll just trade off the Shamans, basically. I'm doing fine on mana. Okay. The opponent... Okay, I think I like where this is going. There's also the argument that Pyrokinesis killing the flip Fable and that one is sick. But if my opponent's saving up for Hardcast Fatty, it's a problem. I'm gonna block here. That works. I'm gonna play out the Priest here, even though that card is better as a surprise, but I think it's okay. Terrible lands here. Draw 2 fresh ones. Not the best either, to be honest. I can now counterspell, which is sick. So I go Shredder. I go Jace, trigger the Shredder, draw. Discard the mountain. That card resolves. Yes, I get ready here. I get ready to click on my opponent's end step if I don't need to counterspell. I have Jace, Rinse Prodigy, Flashbacking, Fire Ice. Oh, Container Priest got rid of that card. I didn't know about that interaction. Let's see. Exile the Saga, then return. Yeah, that's the thing. You exile it first, then it comes back. It doesn't flip. It becomes exile, then tries to return to the battlefield. So Container Priest actually eats my own Flip Fable as well, which is hilarious. I didn't know about that either. Okay, so we kind of got to beat a Molda 5 because we had Pierce, Remand, Memory Lapse, Fire Ice as pseudo time blocks, and then we just had some like bad creatures to finish off the job. Sometimes you'll just get it done like that. All right, we managed to salvage the 2-1. I think that was like pretty expected from this deck. It had a lot of play to it, but it could kind of get caught off guard, and it had some situational cards, especially like the Lavamancer and Pyrokinesis, which are either A+ or like bad cards. The Temple Plan was cool. All the looter effects made it so that our like land spell ratio was usually good. Yeah, just a cool and fun deck to play, and that's what we want to see here. All right, that'll do it for today's video. I hope to see you guys back tomorrow. See you then.